In this video, we're going over lesson 5.3, solving compound inequalities. Compound inequalities when you take two inequalities and put them together with the word or the word and. So to get started, we're going to solve some compound or inequalities. The approach that I like to take is just to solve the two inequalities separate when they're set up this way. And then we'll talk about what it looks like to be a compound or inequality after we find our solution. So if I was to look at these two separately, I'm going to start with the first inequality. This x plus 7 is greater than or equal to 2. I'm just going to solve that one. I'll write this one down in red. So to solve it, I would subtract 7 from both sides, and I would get x is greater than or equal to negative 5. Okay, that one's solved. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the next one. I'll flip colors in blue. So this inequality is 3x minus 7 is less than or equal to negative 34. I'm going to add the 7 to both sides. Just like any other inequality, any multi-step inequality, we can do those same steps. Negative 34 plus 7, that's going to give me negative 27. Divide both sides by 3. X is less than or equal to negative 9. Alright, so we've got x is greater than or equal to negative 5, or x is less than or equal to negative 9. Let's graph both of those. I'll start with the blue one since I still have that blue color ready to go. So I'm going to go to the negative 9. I'm going to put a filled in circle because it is less than or equal to, and this would be to the left of it. Okay, now for the first inequality that I solved, I got x is greater than or equal to negative 5. So I'm going to negative 5, I'm putting a filled in circle, drawing my arrow to the right. So notice with a compound or, you have two separate solutions. They do not have any overlap. X is less than or equal to negative 9, or x has to be greater than or equal to negative 5. No overlap with a compound or. So compound ors are going to have this design when we see their solution set. They go opposite directions. Let's try another one. Number 2. Start with the first one. Let's just solve it like if it was a normal inequality. 1 plus 9x less than negative 35. Subtract 1. 9x is less than negative 36. Divide by 9. Negative 36 divided by 9. Negative 4. So one solution is x is less than negative 4. Let's take a look at the next solution. Negative 4x minus 3 is less than negative 23. That's the problem. Start solving it. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. I get negative 4x is less than negative 20. Divide by a negative 4. And what happens when you divide by a negative? You have to flip that inequality, so don't forget that. Negative 20 divided by negative 4 is positive 5. So x is less than negative 4, or x is greater than 5. I'm going to go ahead and plot both of those. Here's 5, open circle, all numbers greater than it. And here's negative 4, another open circle, numbers less than it. Okay, so that's your compound or. Let's have you guys try number 3. So give this one a shot and resume the video once you've tried. Alright, when I solved it, I got x is less than or equal to negative 10 for the first inequality. And then for the second inequality, I got x was greater than 7. And then I made those graphs. Make sure that you guys have a closed circle on the less than or equal to negative 10 and an open circle for 7. Let's move down to the next type. So the first type was your compound or. Now we're looking at a compound and inequality. You can see that right here. Okay, these are compound ands. So for number 4, we have two separate ones. So let's do the same thing we did last time. Just like with a compound or, let's solve them individually. I'm going to look at the 9m plus 9 is less than or equal to 36, and I'm going to go ahead and solve that one. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 9. I get 9m is less than or equal to 27. Divide by 9 from both sides. M is less than or equal to 3. Okay, so that's my first part of the solution. Guess I'm not going to box it up quite yet. Now let's take a look at the second inequality and do the same thing. 7m minus 2 greater than or equal to negative 72. Add 2 to both sides. 7m greater than or equal to negative 70. Divide by 7. M greater than or equal to negative 10. So I've got m is less than or equal to 3 and m is greater than or equal to negative 10. Now watch what happens when I graph these. Don't put down this answer quite yet. I've got less than or equal to 3, but then I also have greater than or equal to negative 10. I believe this is the negative 10. So if I put a filled in circle here, take a look at the arrows. They're pointing opposite directions at each other. Unlike the ors, they go opposite directions but away. The ands go opposite directions at each other. This does have some overlap. So for this, we have a constraint where it has to be in between those two numbers. So what we're going to do to graph this is we are going to show that the solution is only in between. So we have these filled in circles at 3 and negative 10, and if it's everything in between, I'm just going to connect those two dots. That's the solution set to number 4. Everything in between those two numbers. All right, let's try number 5. So just like with the last problem, we can solve them the same way. It's just when we graph our solution, we've got to make sure that we understand what the solution's telling us. Okay, so 7x minus 8 is greater than negative 8. Start by adding 8 to both sides. 7x is greater than 0. Divide by 7, and we get 0. Anything divided from 0 is just 0. On the other one, we have 2x minus 3 is less than 5. Add 3. 2x is less than 8. Divide by 2, x is less than 4. So we've got x is greater than 0 and x is less than 4. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and graph this. Greater than 0 would be here. It is an open circle. And then less than 4 would be here. Open circle again. And the solution is everything in between, so we connect them. Those would overlap. Okay, so that's what it looks like when we're doing a compound and. I'm going to show you one additional step that we should have done on number 4, but we're going to do on 4 and 5 right now. With a compound and, you have to write your solution a little different. So with a compound or, you just keep them separate. So this was our answer. It was negative 10, x is less than or equal to negative 10, or x is greater than 7. So all of those can be left separate with the word or in between. But with a compound and, since we have this overlap, we can write it to make it look a little neater. If m is less than or equal to 3, but at the same time greater than or equal to negative 10, you can put it to where it has a boundary in between negative 10 and 3, like this. So this is taking this m is greater than or equal to negative 10. That's what this part is. And this part here, the m is less than or equal to 3, that's putting the part on the other side. So this is just a constraint showing that m has to be in between those two numbers. Alright, so that's how we're going to want to write our solution for the compound and. So let's try that on number 5. Okay, so what I like to do is I just take the lowest number, put it on the left, if I know it's a compound and. So the lowest number is 0, the highest number is 4, and x has to be in between that. And then we can use our less than or equal to symbols to show that x is in between. Alright, that's your compound and. Let's go to the next page. Let's have you guys try this next question here. I'm going to have to pause the video and take a new snip, it looks like. Should be right on the worksheet though. So go ahead and try number 6. Alright, for the first inequality, I got m is less than or equal to 8. And for the second one, I got m is greater than 7. And you can see my graph at the top. Now I'm going to write my solution. So let's just practice that one more time if you haven't got your answer written down. But your solution needs to look like this. So the smallest number is 7. The largest number is 8. M is everything in between. So I'm going to put m in between those two numbers. And then you can put your less than or equal to signs, showing m is greater than 7 and less than or equal to positive 8. Alright, that's number 6, compound and. Let's go down to 7 through 9. These are also compound ands, but they're already set up to where we have them in one inequality. So we just put everything together. We don't see the word and separating them. Alright, so just like these last 3 problems that we did, we can take the same approach. And we're going to solve for k, but we're going to have to do things to each section of the inequality. So let's see what I mean by that. Okay, so I've got negative 9 is less than 7 plus 2k less than or equal to 9. And we want to get k by itself, so we're going to isolate the k. Okay, but we do have 3 sections. Notice we've got the left-hand side, the right-hand side, and the middle. Okay, so I want to first get rid of the 7. I don't want a 7 with that k, so I want to move it. So I'm subtracting 7, but I have 3 sections to subtract it from. The middle, the left, and the far right. Because remember, these are 2 inequalities together making 1. So the negative 7 eliminates here. Negative 7 minus 9 is negative 16. Still have your less than sign here. We've got 2k. We have less than or equal to. And then 9 minus 7 gives us 2. Alright, now I want to get rid of the 2. So I'm going to divide everything by 2. All 3 sections. The 2's eliminate here. We get k. That's what we want. Negative 16 divided by 2. That's negative 8. And 2 divided by 2. That's 1. And I just brought down the symbols. So we have k is in between negative 8 and 1. Let's go ahead and graph that solution. The nice thing here, you don't have to rewrite it at the end. That is the compound and solution. And if I go up to negative 8, I'm going to put an open circle. Go to 1, put a closed circle because it does include it, looking at the symbol, and then connect the points in between. Alright, let's have you guys try the next 2 and resume the video when you're ready. Alright, here's a picture of my work. If you need to pause the video, feel free to do that. Hopefully you're getting the hang of these compound and or inequalities. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out to me. I'm going to be assigning a quizzes game to go with this, so after watching the video, make sure you turn in the worksheet and then complete the quizzes game. Thanks for watching.